way too much stuff in today's audio, people, to even come up with a decent title. So we're just going to use a date. It is, after all, Monday, the 4th of April, 2022. Before we get into this, people, I'm always fond of telling you that I am a humble, flexible, and incredibly fluid messenger on the wall, and now also a canary in the coal mine. Could I also be a hypocrite, people? Do I have to add a hypocrite to my title? Humble, flexible, and fluid? We'll get to that in a minute, people. And what's that all about? Well, in yesterday's video on the 4th, the 3rd of April, a Sunday, I said I sure hope none of my subs are going to a 501c3 state church. Catholic or Protestant makes no difference, kind of like Republican and Democrats. Not a dime's worth of difference. But I was telling you, even though I live in a church, I would never go to a state church. Well, maybe I did. Well, we'll talk about that here in a second. I'll let you decide. Okay, first off, I'm hoping some of you did take my advice and went on to watch some of the recommended videos I talked about yesterday. Played a few sound bites from Ice Age Farmer and geoengineeringwatch.org. All right, people. The nanoparticles of plastic, remember them? Did you get to the part where the scientists, researchers are now saying they could might nanoplastic particles in your bloodstream attached to red blood cells and hinder the transportation of oxygen? Feeling a little tired lately, people? Yeah. Anyway, I hope you took my advice and checked out those videos. And they were legitimate videos, by the way. Alright, people. Now let's get to this guy I follow with on a regular basis. I check in with him. I don't buy everything he says. Let's go. It's Lieutenant Colonel Roy Potter, retired U.S. Army. And speaking of hypocrisy, check this one out. Here we go. Just as quick. There's going to be some quick sound bites today, people. Bear with me.
Again, if you are taking any word from any military, if they're active, reserve, guard, retired, all of those people are under the UCMJ and really have to be careful about what they say. And I understand that.
Talking about Tulsi Gabbard, whether she's lieutenant colonel or major in the Army Reserve MP unit. I don't know if you know about Tulsi Gabbard or not. Says the right things, but she too, along with Ivanka and Trump, were members of the Young World Economic Forum Leadership Program. But he's telling you, as a retired lieutenant colonel in the Army, watch who you take advice from, especially people that are active, National Guard, Reserve, or retired. Now, is that hypocrisy, people? The UCMJ, oh yes, I'm familiar with that. Uniform Code of Military Justice. I was no great thinker back in the day in the Navy, people, but the Uniform Code of Military Justice is what governs the military, obviously. You don't have constitutional rights, even though they claim, and you take an oath to defend and support the Constitution. You don't get them. Things that are not crimes in the civilian world become major crimes in the military. Precisely how you go from E1, E2, E3, almost to E4. You can almost tack on the crow to your arm, and you get booted out as an E2. Long story, but oh yeah, I've come across the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Very familiar with it. In the Army, they call it, Army Air Force, they call it Article 15. In the Navy, Marines, they call it Captain's Mast. Someday I might tell you the story. It was horrific. Okay, so, he might be another hypocrite too, huh? Well, let's get to this going to church. Let's clear this up real quick. How did I go to church? Well, you know I live in a church, and I didn't travel anywhere, including to the bottom Peter Pit yesterday, people. I went over to Tubi. It's a free movie site. You know, you just have to watch their miserable ads. And you ever notice there's a particular race of people all over these ads? Yeah, it's amazing. I think they're only 13% of the population doing 99.9% of the commercials. Stunning. You can't see that, people. You can't see the forest for the trees. How did they go to church? Precisely that, people. That was a religious experience on Tubi. I was tipped off to a movie. It was a 2016 production from Hollywood. Yeah, when you go to a theater, when you click on your movie channels, when you watch your HBOs and Showtimes, whatever you do, streaming your Netflix, You're in church, people. You are getting a dose of religion. And The Gods of Egypt was the name of the movie. I didn't make it through too much. It was just too out of my league. But I picked up a number of things, people. And it ties in kind of nicely with my general complaint overall with the state 501c3 tax-exempt churches. Catholic or Protestant makes no difference, people. Remember, the Protestants were the protesters of the Holy Roman Catholic Church. Catholic meaning universal. You know, universal like worldwide, like a New World Order type. Yeah, that's the one. I'm going to tell you something, people. You start out that movie, and you're introduced to the Egyptian gods. Osiris, his evil brother Set, S-E-T-T, and Osiris' son, Horus. Yeah, Set kills Osiris, and then he fights Horus and gouges out his eyeballs. How rude, huh? Yeah, it was pretty rude. And then he has him locked away, and he has Horus banished, I don't know, to the land of the blind. Guy can't see, can't do much. No threat to Set, his uncle. So, of course, this is a quest for Horus's eyes. And they find one. Not both, they find one. And they pop it back in his head. And now he becomes a threat, I guess. Because at about that point, I go, holy smokes, is this too religious for me? And I switched off. Now, the Eye of Horus, people. You see it on the back of the dollar bill. That's the eye in the little truncated pyramid, the top of the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill. Take a look-see. It's the CBS logo. In fact, the Eye of Horus plays big in a lot of symbology. And what's the religion of symbols? Masonry, people. Yeah. You ever see the Hollywood types, the celebrity types, with they make the OK symbol and they place it over their right eye? Yeah. Eye of Horus symbology, people. How about the celebrities that cover one eye, or they're photographed in a magazine, you know, with just only one eye showing, or the women, or maybe they're not women, their hair comes down and covers one eye. You see it everywhere if you only look, people. Yeah, that's the symbology for one eye blind, the one eye blinded Horus, god of masonry. No doubt they love him. Okay, now what's this all about? This whole movie, people, dealt with the Egyptian Book of the Dead. And it's the Egyptian Book of the Dead, a legitimate document that is the foundation of the Holy Roman Universal Catholic Church. It is the foundation of the Protestant religions, with very rare exception and only in very small groups. I'm not making this up. The Trinity doctrine, you're not going to find it in the Bible. They claim they use the Bible, but no. Hail Mary, Mother of God? God has a mother? Oh yeah, it's the Queen of Heaven doctrine. It's the Egyptian Book of the Dead, people. Not the Bible. That's not the foundation of your state 501c3 churches. And I do love to bash 501c3 churches. The Sacred Almond. Gotta be careful here, people, because it pertains to a piece of the female anatomy. Might be kids watching, so I don't want to get too much into that. How can I give you a clue? Well, it's below the waist. How about that? Some people say it kind of looks like a taco, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, I don't want to go any further than that. The phallic symbols. You know what the phallic symbols are? It's the steeples and the spires. Yeah, it looks like an erect heart-on. The Johnson, it's got an erection. You see them everywhere. You see them on the Washington's monument. And usually if they're near a dome, oh, is that Capitol real close to the dome of the Capitol real close to Washington Monument? Yeah, you get the sex act there, people. The dome represents the divine feminine, and then you got Washington's Johnson. What? Masons will tell you how many feet it is. Kind of works out into some 666 deal. They're big on symbolism. The Basilica of St. Peter in the Vatican Square. Yeah, another erection, people. Except it isn't really St. Peter from the Bible. Well, it's got Apollo. Yeah, these guys are clever. They mask things. They mask the occult with things of the Bible. And not necessarily a phallic symbol, but the Statue of Liberty, people. Take a good look at it. You sure that's a chick? Are you sure the France Masons gave that to the USA years ago as a First tranny man. Yeah, I think that's more the god Apollo holding the lamp of illumination rather than Lady Liberty. But, you can argue with me if you want. Okay, here's the point. The sacred almond, we're not saying any more about that, and the phallic symbols, the erect Johnsons. You know what? Why do the Masons wear their apron, don't you? To hide their Johnsons, because that is Emmanuel with us on the face of the earth. That is their God. But it's not the Bible God, people. It's their Luciferian God. Oh yeah, they'll tell you. Well, maybe they won't, because they like to lie to infidels. They're the regenerative organs, the issuance of life. Crazy shit, people. Those religious devils, the Masons, and I mean they are religious. Hey, wait a minute, Dave. I got a relative who's a Mason. He's a Master Mason, 3rd degree. And he said when he was in the initiation, there was a Holy Bible on there, on the altar. And I said, no doubt about it. I'm sure there was. But what laid on top of the Holy Bible? Because they'll have an open holy book, depending on your location and the predominant religion in your area. But what's laying on top of the open holy Bible? The tools of masonry. Yeah, the compass and the square. See, these Masons always are going to the east to seek wisdom and enlightenment. Now think about what I told you yesterday about the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve banished, kicked out, east of Eden. Are you making the connection? I'm telling you, people, there's facts concealed in plain view if you'd only open your minds and see how this is so all interconnected. So, how do you find a fellow traveler, a fellow Mason? One way is, if you suspect he is one, you can simply say, have you been to the East? And if they say yes, you got yourself one, people, because that's what they do. They go to the East, seeking wisdom and enlightenment. And, I don't know much more to tell you about the Masons. Tricky bunch of religious devils. We'll just leave it at that. Dan the Mason can probably flesh in things. Talk about the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Oh, yeah, they got Horus. They got Horus all over the place. And, I don't know, I'm going to lose my thought. I was trying to think that Bible yesterday. I had it on the tip of my tongue, and I just forgot it again. It starts with a G. I'm pretty sure of that. Okay, let's go. Let's move on. So, not a dime's worth of difference between the Catholics, the Protestants, the Masons. Their source of all wisdom is the Egyptian Book of the Dead. The Babylonian mystery religions, people. And they may walk around with their Bibles, but I'm telling you, you're up to no good. And the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Ask those Masons, if you're sitting there having a beer with Dan the Man, give them the, what's this, Ma Ra Bone? I mean, they mix a number of God's names together in their chants. So mote it be, Dan. Alright, now moving on. Look, all my audios are going to go run long. Make this quick. The Commander-in-Chief had a gap yesterday. Let's just go. This will be quick. I'm going to catch up fast. Here we go.
Biden's approval has been on a steady decline while his gaps have been on the incline. Here's the latest. When he said the First Lady was Vice President. Listen.
And I'm deeply proud of the work she's doing as First Lady with Joining Forces Initiative. She started with Michelle Obama when she was Vice President and now carries on.
All right, in case you missed that, here's a Biden quote, and I'm deeply proud of the work she is doing as First Lady with Joining Forces Initiative. She started with Michelle Obama when she was Vice President, and now carries on. Well, I missed that, man. I don't remember her ever being a Vice President. No. All right, people. Are you following High Impact Flex? The guy's he comes up with good stuff in the story. And we got Murray's relative here. Don't rub Murray on this one. He's not too fond of this guy. Rachel Levine, you know what I'm talking about? Dude looks like a lady. Yeah, your Undersecretary of Health. All right. They want to ask him, hey, are you a model to children that are coming up through the ranks? Real quick here.
Always brave, strong, beautiful, and a picture of health. The Assistant Secretary of Health and high-ranking 4-star Admiral Rachel, who gives a damn about truth, Levine, answered a question about being a role model to kids.
How much do you see yourself, in some ways, Admiral Levine, as a role model for trans kids, given that you are such a high-ranking official in the government?
Well, thank you so much. It is such an honor to serve in this position. It's an honor to have been nominated and then confirmed as the Assistant Secretary for Health, and then truly an honor to have taken the uniform of the United States Public Health Service Commission Corps as a four-star admiral. So I am truly privileged, and
You know, if you're feeling kind of ill, people, and you want to induce vomiting, you might want to track down this news link from MSNBC. Got it from Brian at High Impact Flex. He does a good job. I suggest you follow him. Because if you see what I'm seeing I'm looking at the news feed. You're only hearing his voice. Makes you want to puke. Guy's all dressed up in his uniform. Jesus. And like I said, don't worry about him because it's one of his relatives he doesn't want to talk about. And Rachel Levine was a classmate of none other than the Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman, General Thoroughly Modern Milley. Now, people, are you kind of getting where I'm going? Can you kind of getting how interconnected, interwoven this stuff all is? I'm telling you, people, we have got some serious issues here. You've got to be able to start seeing the forest for the trees, or we're going to be just effed, totally effed. You're going to be deer in the headlights when this comes down, and it's coming down fast and furious from all different angles. So, I hope you decide that I'm still your humble, flexible, and most incredibly fluid messenger, and then know I was not a hypocrite by telling you not to go to state churches, and I went to one myself. Every time you check into your free movies, people, your Netflix feeds, whatever, you're in church. You're watching Hollywood's version of the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Masonic religion. Yep. Okay, people. 17-minute long video. I got stuff to do. You guys have a good second day of the week.